Welcome back to the channel. Today we're counting down the top 10 most valuable quarter-dollar coins that could be worth huge money in today's auction market. Let's get started. First up, we're diving into the 1967 USA Silver Washington Quarter Dollar, a coin that may surprise you with its value in today's auction market. The 1967 Washington Quarter was minted during a unique period in American coinage history. The year 1967 falls right in the middle of the Silver Age, where the United States was still producing silver coins before the shift to copper-nickel compositions just a year later. It's important to note that this coin contains 90% silver, which already adds a premium to its value. But what really determines its worth in today's market is more than just the metal content. The 1967 Washington Quarter features the iconic image of George Washington on the obverse, designed by John Flanagan. On the reverse, we see the eagle perched on an olive branch, a symbol of peace and strength. One key detail to note is that this coin does not have a mint mark, indicating it was struck at the Philadelphia Mint. So how much is it worth today, especially in good condition? In good condition, a 1967 silver Washington Quarter without a mint mark typically carries a market value in the range of $22 to $25. While this isn't a coin that's going to break the bank, it's still worth more than its face value due to the silver content, which alone adds about $19 or more based on current silver prices. But why does this coin's value fluctuate in auction settings? Market demand plays a key role. Depending on the auction, the condition of the coin, and the interest of bidders, prices can rise. Some buyers are interested in building collections of silver quarters, while others are looking at its silver value as an investment. Now, let's talk about the condition. In good condition, you'll notice that the coin has significant wear, especially around the details of Washington's hair and the eagle on the reverse. Good condition typically means the coin has been in circulation for a while, so expect some smoothing of the finer details. A higher grade, like very fine or uncirculated, can bring this coin's value up substantially, sometimes reaching $30 or more in the right market. So while the 1967 Washington Quarter without a mint mark in good condition isn't one of the most valuable coins out there, it's still an interesting piece of history and worth adding to your collection if you're a fan of US silver coins. The silver content alone ensures that it holds its value well above face value, making it a good option for collectors and investors alike. Next up, the 1983 Washington Quarter with P mint mark, a coin that's catching attention in the collector's market. We'll talk about what makes this quarter special, what fine condition means, and its current value in today's auction market. First, let's set the scene. The 1983 Washington Quarter, minted in Philadelphia, doesn't contain silver, unlike earlier quarters from the silver era. By this time, the composition had shifted to a copper-nickel blend, meaning it has no intrinsic metal value in silver. However, 1983 quarters are still valuable due to their mintage circumstances. 1983 was unique because the US Mint didn't release collector sets that year. This makes high-quality 1983 quarters harder to find today, and even those in circulated condition can carry a premium in the auction market. This coin features the classic Washington design by sculptor John Flanagan, showing George Washington on the obverse and an eagle on the reverse side. The P mint mark under Washington's neck signifies that it was minted in Philadelphia, where over 673 million were produced in 1983. Condition is key with this quarter. Today, we're looking specifically at a 1983 Washington Quarter in fine condition. In fine condition, you'll see some moderate wear, especially on Washington's hair details and the eagle's feathers on the reverse. While not pristine, fine condition is still desirable, especially for a 1983 quarter, which is harder to find in high grades due to the lack of collector sets. So, what is this 1983 Washington Quarter with a P mint mark worth in fine condition in the current auction market? These coins typically sell for around $29,000, depending on the auction and demand. While that might seem modest, it's well above face value for a quarter of this age and composition, thanks to the scarcity of quality 1983 quarters. The price can increase if you find one in higher grades like extremely fine or uncirculated. Collectors often pay a premium for coins in better conditions, with some reaching $32 or more in those higher grades. To sum it up, the 1983 Washington Quarter with P mint mark is a fascinating piece with surprising value in the market, especially considering it's not a silver coin. If you come across one in fine condition or better, it's definitely worth holding onto or auctioning. Next up, the 1981 Washington Quarter with P mint mark in very fine condition. Curious about its value in today's auction market? Stick around to find out. The 1981 Washington Quarter is a copper-nickel coin minted nearly 2 decades after the US. Mint stopped using silver in quarters. Instead of silver, it features a copper core with a nickel coating, making it less valuable for its metal but still collectible. What makes it interesting, high-quality specimens are in demand, particularly from collectors of late 20th century US coins. This quarter was produced at the Philadelphia Mint, indicated by the P mint mark, which can be found just to the right of Washington's ponytail. The Philadelphia Mint produced over 600 million Washington quarters in 1981, but finding one in excellent condition is not as easy as it might sound, especially in very fine or better. In very fine condition, this 1981 quarter shows moderate wear on the high points, like Washington's hair and the eagle's feathers on the reverse, but most details are still visible, with a nice balance between wear and clarity. It's a desirable grade for those who want a visually appealing coin without paying a premium for higher, uncirculated grades. So, what can you expect for a 1981 Washington Quarter with P mint mark in very fine condition in today's auction market? Currently, these coins are selling in the range of $37,000 at auctions. While they don't carry a high premium, they are still worth more than face value, especially for collectors interested in high-quality circulated quarters from this era. The value is driven by the collector's desire to complete date and mint mark sets. Although it may not be as valuable as earlier silver Washington quarters, it's still a nice addition for collectors who are focusing on late 20th century US coins. If you're interested in finding or selling a 1981 Washington Quarter, look for one with the best possible details in circulated grades like very fine or higher. These grades make for an attractive piece without the cost of uncirculated versions, and they tend to hold their value well among collectors. Next up, the 1984 Washington Quarter with P mint mark. If you have one in good condition, you might wonder, is it worth anything? Stay tuned to learn about its history, condition, and current auction value. Let's start with a little history. By 1984, Washington quarters had been produced in a copper-nickel composition for about 2 decades. No longer made from silver, these quarters consist of a copper core with a nickel coating, which means their intrinsic metal value is relatively low. But they're still collected for their design and significance in US coinage. This 1984 quarter was minted in Philadelphia, marked by the P mint mark, located just to the right of Washington's neck. In 1984, the Philadelphia Mint produced over 676 million of these quarters, so while they aren't scarce, the mint mark makes it an essential part of a complete date and mint set. Now, what exactly does good condition mean for a coin like this in good condition? A coin will show significant wear, especially on high points like Washington's hair and the eagle's feathers. Most fine details are worn down, but the date, mint mark, and general design are still visible. While not highly valued by collectors for its condition, it's still a collectible piece for beginners and those looking to complete their series. So what can you expect for a 1984 Washington Quarter with a P mint mark in good condition? Because of the high mintage and the wear on these coins, they generally sell for around face value or a bit more at auction, typically between $40,000. Depending on demand and the specific auction. Coins in good condition don't usually command high premiums, but they're still valuable as part of a collection of late 20th century quarters. If you come across a 1984 quarter in a higher grade like very fine or even uncirculated, the value can increase, especially for well-preserved examples. Some collectors look for higher grade 1980s quarters to complete modern sets, which adds to the market demand. To sum it up, while the 1984 Washington Quarter with P mint mark in good condition isn't likely to make you a fortune, it's still a neat collectible for beginners. And if you come across a higher grade example, it's worth considering for your collection or a small premium at auction. Next up, we're spotlighting a 1990 Washington Quarter with the P mint mark and large date in extra fine condition. Let's dive into its history, condition specifics, and current auction value. The Washington Quarter has a long legacy in US coinage. Although quarters from this era are no longer made of silver, they remain popular among collectors. The 1990 quarter is made of a copper nickel clad with a copper core and nickel coating, typical of quarters minted from 1965 onward. This coin was struck at the Philadelphia Mint, identified by the P Mint mark found to the right of Washington's ponytail. Philadelphia produced over 900 million quarters in 1990, making it a common coin by mintage. However, finding well-preserved examples in extra fine or higher condition can still be a bit of a challenge. In extra fine condition, this coin shows only light wear on the highest points, like Washington's hair and the eagle's feathers on the reverse. Most details remain sharp, giving it an appealing look for collectors without the high cost of uncirculated grades. So, what's the value of a 1990 Washington quarter with a P Mint mark in extra fine condition in today's auction market? Due to its relatively high mintage, the 1990 quarter doesn't command a high premium, but it does fetch more than face value in this condition. Right now, you can expect to see prices from $1 to $3 in online auctions, depending on demand. The appeal here is for collectors of modern Washington quarters who are assembling complete date and mint mark sets with quarters in higher grades like extra fine or better. For those looking to buy or sell a 1990 quarter in extra fine condition, make sure to check for well-preserved details, especially in the high points like the eagle's feathers. While it might not be a rare find, maintaining a complete and high-quality collection can add value over time. Next up, the 1966 Washington quarter dollar with a D Mint mark in dirty condition. Is this quarter worth anything in today's auction market? Let's find out. The Washington quarter from 1966 holds a special place in U.S. coin history. But there's a twist here: 1966 quarters actually don't have any mint mark. At that time, mint marks were temporarily omitted to discourage hoarding, so if you come across a 1966 quarter with D mark, it's likely not authentic. Now, a bit more about the coin itself. 1966 Washington quarters were minted in high numbers, over 800 million were produced, and unlike earlier Washington quarters made of silver, the 1966 quarter is made of a copper-nickel blend, which holds less intrinsic metal value. What do we mean by dirty condition coins? In this condition show visible dirt, discoloration, or tarnish from years of circulation. Collectors often prefer cleaned or well-preserved coins, so a dirty quarter typically won't add significant value, but it can still be interesting as part of a circulated set. So, what can you expect for a genuine 1966 Washington quarter in dirty condition? Because of the high mintage and the lack of silver, these coins are generally valued around face value or just slightly above. In today's auction market, they typically sell between $0.25 and $0.75, depending on demand. While it's not a high-value item, it's still a collectible for enthusiasts of mid-20th century quarters. Remember, this value is for authentic 1966 quarters without mint mark. If you see a 1966 quarter with D or other mint mark, it may not be genuine or could be altered. Next up, the 1974 Washington quarter, which has no mint mark and is in fine condition. Let's find out its value in today's auction market and uncover some key details about this classic coin. The Washington quarter series started in 1932, and by 1974, these coins had become a staple of U.S. currency. However, quarters from this era, including the 1974 quarter, were not made of silver. Instead, they were struck in a copper-nickel clad composition. The last silver quarters were actually minted in 1964. This 1974 quarter without a mint mark was minted in Philadelphia, which didn't use a mint mark on quarters at the time. With over 800 million quarters produced in Philadelphia in 1974, it's a common coin. Yet, many collectors enjoy keeping these historical pieces in their collections. When we say this quarter is in fine condition, it means it's seen noticeable circulation. There will be wear on Washington's hair and the eagle's feathers, but most of the main details are still visible. Coins in fine condition are typically more affordable, but still retain collector interest. So, what's the value of a 1974 Washington quarter without a mint mark in fine condition? Since it's a high mintage, non-silver coin, the 1974 quarter typically sells close to face value. In today's auction market, you might see these coins go for around $0.25 to $1, depending on demand. However, it's worth holding onto as part of a complete Washington quarter collection. Remember, While it's not high in value, it's still a valuable piece of US numismatic history, and collectors often seek these coins in full date sets. Next up, the 1972 Washington quarter with a large date and D mint mark in extra fine condition. Curious about what it might be worth in today's auction market? Let's dive in. The Washington quarter has been an essential part of American coinage since 1932. By 1972, these quarters were widely circulated, and they were made with a copper-nickel composition. Rather than silver, the D mint mark tells us this coin was minted in Denver, adding a unique detail for collectors. Now, let's break down a few features. First, the D mint mark, which you'll see on the reverse side of the coin. Near the bottom, this signifies the Denver Mint, which produced around 311 million of these quarters in 1972. The large date on this quarter refers to the more prominent, clear numerals used, which collectors can appreciate for easy readability. In extra fine condition, this coin shows only light signs of wear. Most of Washington's hair details remain visible, and the feathers on the eagle are well defined. Coins in extra fine condition are desirable for their mix of detail and affordability. Show a close-up of a 1972 Washington quarter in extra fine condition, highlighting the details on Washington's hair and the eagle's feathers. So, what's this coin worth in today's market? Due to its high mintage and lack of silver content, the 1972 Washington quarter is generally affordable. In extra fine condition, it typically sells for around $1 to $2.50 in auctions, depending on demand and collector interest. While it's not among the most valuable quarters, it's a solid piece for a Washington quarter collection, especially for those looking to complete a date and mint mark set. Thanks for watching. While the 1972 quarter may not break the bank, it's a great find for collectors who appreciate high-grade circulated coins. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell for more coin insights. Let us know in the comments if there's a specific coin you'd like us to cover next.